Hello and welcome to IAMC Radio and Podcast. Get ready for your daily dose of news as we explore the top news headlines today, March 11th. We're starting off with a major development in the Philippines, where former President Rodrigo Duterte has been arrested. He was apprehended at the Manila airport upon returning from a trip to Hong Kong.
Yeah, this is huge. Duterte was wanted by the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity stemming from his war on drugs. This campaign officially resulted in over 7,000 deaths during his presidency from 2016 to 2022, but human rights groups estimate the actual number could be much higher, potentially over 30,000.
The Philippines withdrew from the ICC in 2019, so this arrest raises many complex legal questions. It'll be fascinating to see how this case unfolds on the international stage. Now, shifting gears to a story here in the U.S., the Trump administration has just launched a new app aimed at encouraging undocumented immigrants to self-deport. This app, called CBP Home, replaces the CBP One app, which was used during the previous administration to assist migrants entering the U.S.
CBP Home allows migrants to signal their desire to leave and even submit proof of departure. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem states that this app is all about restoring integrity to the immigration system. However, this initiative has sparked considerable debate, with critics expressing concerns that it might pressure vulnerable individuals into making hasty decisions.
Moving on to Nigeria, we have news of a dramatic rescue operation. 27 foreign nationals, 18 men and 9 women from Ghana and Benin Republic were rescued from an apartment in Lagos.
It appears they were lured to Nigeria with false promises of employment, but were then held against their will.
Thankfully, one of the victims managed to contact the police complaint response unit, leading to their rescue. In other news from Nigeria, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has been suspended for 6 months.
This suspension follows her obtaining a court order to halt an investigation into her conduct. A group of her constituents has filed a petition with the Code of Conduct Bureau alleging abuse of power by the Senate President and other senators involved in the suspension. For our listeners unfamiliar with the Code of Conduct Bureau, it's an independent body responsible for investigating allegations of corruption and misconduct against public officials in Nigeria. This case highlights the ongoing struggle for transparency and accountability within the Nigerian political system.
Switching gears to Canadian politics, there's big news. Canada has a new prime minister.
That's right. Mark Carney, the former central banker and climate advocate, won the Liberal leadership election.
This is quite remarkable considering he has never held elected office before.
Indeed, he brings a unique perspective to the role, and many will be watching closely to see how his background in finance and climate policy shapes his leadership.
Now we go to Malaysia, where the government is issuing a travel warning to its citizens.
They are advising Malaysians to avoid travel to southern Thailand following a series of deadly attacks over the weekend. Bombings and shootings suspected to be the work of insurgents killed at least 5 people. This region of southern Thailand, unfortunately, has a long and troubled history of separatist violence, making travel there risky at this time.
Next, we have a story about Elon Musk weighing in on the Romanian election. Musk, who heads DOGE, the U.S. Department of Government Effectiveness, has called Romania's decision to ban a pro-Russian presidential candidate crazy.
The candidate in question, Călin Georgescu, is actually leading in the polls before being banned.
Musk has been a vocal critic of what he sees as attacks on free speech and democratic processes around the world. He views the ban on Georgescu as another example of this trend.
This situation in Romania touches on a complex issue. While concerns about foreign influence in elections are valid, there's a fine line between addressing those concerns and suppressing legitimate political dissent.
Yeah, we have more news regarding Elon Musk this time. It involved the major outage that occurred on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Musk, who owns X, claims that the outage was caused by a massive cyber attack originating from Ukraine.
A hacker group called Dark Storm Team has claimed responsibility for the attack.
This incident highlights the increasing vulnerability of online platforms to cyber attacks, especially in the context of geopolitical tensions. It raises important questions about cybersecurity and the resilience of our digital infrastructure.
Our final headline for today takes us to Indonesia, where a Tik Toker has been sentenced to almost 3 years in prison for blasphemy.
Ratu Thalisa, a transgender woman, made a comment about Jesus during a live stream that was deemed offensive by Indonesian authorities.
Human rights groups are condemning the sentence as an infringement on free speech and are calling for her release.
It's important to note that Indonesia has very strict blasphemy laws that can be used to punish individuals for expressing certain religious views. This case has sparked debate both within Indonesia and internationally about the boundaries of free speech and the rights of religious minorities, particularly within the LGBTQ+ community.
This case also highlights the growing influence of social media and the potential consequences of online expression, particularly in countries with strict laws governing speech and religious sentiments.
As we delve deeper into these headlines, it becomes clear that today's news touches on some truly significant global themes.
You're absolutely right. We've seen stories about international justice, immigration policy, political turmoil, technological vulnerabilities, and freedom of expression, all in just this short span of time.
Exactly. Let's start with the arrest of former President Duterte in the Philippines. This case brings up a crucial question. How do we hold powerful leaders accountable for human rights abuses? The International Criminal Court plays a vital role in pursuing justice for such crimes, but its effectiveness often hinges on the cooperation of individual nations. The Philippines' withdrawal from the ICC complicates matters further. It'll be interesting to see how this legal battle unfolds and what implications it holds for international law and the pursuit of justice.
Indeed, and shifting back to the U.S., the Trump administration's new self-deportation app certainly raises questions about the direction of immigration policy. While proponents argue that it offers a streamlined process for individuals seeking to leave the country, voluntarily, critics worry about potential coercion and the app's impact on vulnerable populations, especially those fleeing violence or persecution. This situation underscores the ongoing debate about how to balance border security with humanitarian concerns and the need for a fair and just immigration system.
Now, turning our attention to Nigeria, the rescue of those 27 foreign nationals highlights the grim reality of human trafficking and forced labor. It's a stark reminder of the exploitation that occurs globally, often hidden in plain sight. The fact that these victims were lured with promises of employment underscores the need for greater awareness and vigilance to combat this heinous crime.
Absolutely, and the suspension of Senator Akpoti Udogan in Nigeria speaks to the complexities of political power and accountability in a developing democracy. Allegations of abuse of power and attempts to stifle investigations raise concerns about transparency and due process. It'll be crucial to monitor how this case develops and its implications for the rule of law in Nigeria.
Let's move on to Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. His election is notable for several reasons. As the first leader in recent history without prior experience in elected office, Carney brings a fresh perspective to Canadian politics. His background in finance and climate advocacy suggests a potential focus on economic stability and environmental sustainability during his tenure. It remains to be seen how his lack of traditional political experience will affect his ability to navigate the complexities of governing. But it's a development that's captivated the attention of many political observers.
Turning now to Malaysia's travel warning for southern Thailand, it serves as a reminder of the ongoing conflict and instability in that region. The attacks attributed to insurgents highlight the persistence of separatist violence and the challenges in achieving lasting peace. It's a tragic situation that has impacted countless lives and continues to pose a threat to regional security. Next, we have Elon Musk's reaction to the Romanian election. His criticism of the ban on a pro-Russian candidate brings to light the tension between national security concerns and freedom of expression. While it's understandable for countries to safeguard their democratic processes from foreign interference, there's always a risk of those efforts being used to suppress legitimate political dissent. The debate surrounding the Romanian election exemplifies this very dilemma. Indeed, and speaking of Elon Musk, the cyber attack on X, the platform he owns, underscores the vulnerability of our increasingly interconnected digital world. As our reliance on online platforms grows, so too does our exposure to cyber threats. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the need for robust cybersecurity measures to protect critical infrastructure and ensure the stability of online spaces.
Finally, the case of the Tik Toker jailed for blasphemy in Indonesia raises profound questions about the limits of free speech and the role of religion in society. While blasphemy laws exist in many countries, their application often raises concerns about censorship and the targeting of marginalized groups, particularly those expressing dissenting religious views or belonging to minority faiths.
This case also highlights the impact of social media on societal norms and the challenges in navigating freedom of expression in the digital age, particularly in contexts where cultural and religious sensitivities are paramount.
These issues are multifaceted and often spark heated debate reflecting the complex interplay of individual rights, religious beliefs, and social harmony.
It's clear that today's news offers a glimpse into a world grappling with significant challenges and opportunities.
From the pursuit of international justice to navigating the complexities of immigration technology and freedom of expression, these headlines provide a snapshot of the issues shaping our global landscape.
So as we start to wrap up our look at today's news, it's amazing how these stories all connect in a way.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, whether it's Duterte's arrest, that new app, or the cyber attack. Each event has an impact that reaches far beyond just one country.
It really highlights the importance of staying informed,
Yeah.
and thinking critically about what's happening.
I completely agree. We can't afford to be passive bystanders. We have to look at the information we're getting from all sides and come to our own conclusions.
And that's what we're all about here, giving you the tools to understand this complex and constantly changing world.
Exactly. We hope you dig deeper into these stories, do your own research, and talk about the things that matter most with others.
At the end of the day, understanding the world is the first step towards making it better.
Thanks for listening to today's top news headlines on IAMC Radio and Podcast.